Emperor Vor'thian spent 200 million credits searching the galaxy for the genius who saved his empire. Unaware, he walked past that genius twice weekly without a glance. The man he sought worked 3 meters away, wiping grease from calloused hands. Invisible because he was human and humans were merely mechanics. Today, that blindness would cost the Emperor everything he believed about the universe and his place in it. Jake Morrison wiped hydraulic fluid from his hands in the cavernous maintenance bay beneath the Imperial Palace on Thalkara Prime. He was one of 50 human mechanics, servicing the Thalkrian Empire's fleet, part of the invisible infrastructure that kept civilization running. Humans had joined galactic society 20 years ago, filling roles established species considered beneath them: sanitation, basic maintenance, manual labor. The Thalkrian were ancient, sophisticated, convinced of their intellectual superiority. Humans were useful hands, nothing more. Emperor Vor'thian himself passed through the bay twice weekly, flanked by advisors, discussing matters of state in voices that echoed off metal walls. He never once looked at Jake or any human worker. To him, they were part of the machinery necessary but unworthy of notice. Jake didn't mind. He preferred the quiet satisfaction of fixing things nobody else understood. He'd grown up on Earth fixing combustion engines with his father, learning that all machines, regardless of complexity, followed basic principles. The Empire's technology was more advanced, but principles remained constant. The crisis began without warning. The Empire's primary power grid started experiencing catastrophic failures, impossible because the technology was ancient, stable, built by an extinct species called the architects. Modern science barely understood it, could maintain it but not truly comprehend its underlying mechanics. When failures cascaded, the Imperial Science Council declared the problem unsolvable within the time frame needed. Billions faced death if the grid collapsed completely. Emperor Vor'thian offered 200 million credits to anyone who could solve it, broadcasting the challenge across the empire. Thousands of experts responded, presenting complex theories involving quantum mechanics, dimensional mathematics, temporal physics. All failed. Meanwhile, Jake noticed unusual vibration patterns in the ships he serviced. During lunch, he accessed public technical databases and studied the grid problem. He recognized it immediately, not from advanced theory but from practical experience. The principle was identical to harmonic resonance issues in combustion engines, just scaled astronomically. The architect's grid used quantum resonance where Earth engines used mechanical vibration, but the underlying mathematics were the same. Jake saw the solution clearly. Introduce counter-resonance, dampeners at specific frequency intervals. Simple. Obvious. He submitted his solution anonymously through a public terminal, knowing no one would take seriously a proposal from a human mechanic. He didn't expect recognition, just wanted the problem solved because the maintenance bay's life support was connected to the grid. The anonymous solution worked perfectly. The grid stabilized within hours. Billions were saved. Emperor Vor'thian was stunned. This anonymous genius understood in hours what the Empire's finest minds couldn't grasp in weeks. He became obsessed with finding this person, convinced they represented a hidden civilization or new species. He increased the reward to 200 million credits and launched a massive investigation. His intelligence agencies searched for the transmission source. Jake watched this unfold with quiet amusement from the maintenance bay, continuing his daily routine. He serviced the Emperor's personal shuttle twice during the search, working 3 meters from Vor'thian while the Emperor discussed theories about which advanced species solved his crisis. The irony wasn't lost on Jake, but he said nothing. Kayla Chun, a fellow human mechanic, suspected his involvement. "That was you, wasn't it?" she asked quietly. Jake shrugged. "The grid needed fixing. You saved billions. Maybe they should know. Why? I just did what needed doing. But Kayla's words lingered. Jake began questioning his contentment with invisibility. The investigation narrowed to the Palace District. Security footage showed the solution came from a terminal in the lower levels. The suspect pool included 3,000 individuals, nobles, scientists, bureaucrats, and as an afterthought service workers. Interviews began. When they reached maintenance staff, the interviews were perfunctory. No one seriously considered humans might possess the necessary intellect. Jake's interview lasted 3 minutes. The investigator barely looked at him, asking scripted questions while reviewing data on a tablet. Jake answered honestly but plainly. The investigator dismissed him without a second thought. The turning point came when advisor, Meshtar, who'd suggested checking lower classes but was ridiculed, convinced a junior investigator to examine terminal logs forensically. They discovered the user-accessed combustion engine documentation immediately before solving the quantum grid problem. This made no sense. Combustion engines were primitive human technology, irrelevant to quantum physics. Unless someone recognized an underlying principle transcending technological sophistication. Cross-referencing database access with maintenance schedules yielded one name, Jake Morrison, Human Mechanic, Level 3 Maintenance Certification. The investigator brought this to Emperor Vor'thian, who dismissed it as impossible. A human? A mechanic? This genius understands technology my Imperial Science Council couldn't comprehend. It cannot be. But Meshtar insisted on verification. Reluctantly, Vor'thian agreed to a test. They summoned Jake to the Imperial chamber. For the first time, Emperor Vor'thian actually looked at Jake Morrison. They presented him with a theoretical engineering challenge they knew the solution to, but required unusual thinking. Jake solved it in minutes, explaining his reasoning in plain language that made complex concepts seem obvious. He drew parallels to simple mechanical systems, showing how advanced technology often obscured basic principles. The room fell silent. Vor'thian realized the truth. The anonymous genius who saved his empire was the mechanic he'd walked past hundreds of times without seeing. The human he'd considered barely sentient. His worldview shattered. He offered Jake the 200 million credits, a position as Imperial Science Advisor, formal apologies. Jake declined everything except a modest raise. I don't need recognition or titles, Your Majesty. I just need you to reconsider your assumptions about humans and other species you've overlooked. How much genius has your empire wasted through dismissive arrogance? The encounter forced Vor'thian to confront his prejudice. He began noticing other humans, other overlooked species, realizing how much talent his empire had squandered. 3 months later, the empire established blind merit evaluations. Dozens of overlooked geniuses emerged from maintenance bays, sanitation crews, cargo holds. Jake still worked in Bay 7, but now by choice, mentoring young engineers regardless of species. The Emperor commissioned plaques for every Imperial facility. Wisdom exists in unexpected places. Look past your assumptions or you miss the best among you. The galaxy learned that day. Humanity's gift isn't superior technology. It's solving complex problems with simple wisdom and working without needing recognition until the work demands it.